welcome back to Little Side Note with Win and
Maya.
so today we are going to talk about the LGBTQ community as Pride Month is coming in ahead.
So it'll just be another when we're recording it's like another week, but by the time it releases I'd say like a day before, but
Yeah.
it should be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a little different from our previous episodes because like I'm gay and Maya's like straight, so I guess she'll be the one asking most of the questions while I'll be the one answering.
Yeah, just because I've never really extensively researched it. So why not share this experience of enlightenment with everyone?
Yep. And I'm pretty sure you have like I wouldn't say like offending questions, but it's just something that you're genuinely like curious about. And as I am your friend, I'm not offended, and I know you're coming from a like good place of asking me those questions. So yeah, you can ask like the hard questions.
Yeah, like you can also point out that I should not mention this, or like people should not ask this straight away. So it's like I guess a good PSA for everyone to like be cautious about. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie. I do not have very clear understanding of the LGBTQ definition. Like I know gay as in guys like guys, lesbian as in girls like girls, and then there's straight like normal people. But other than that, everything is like quite fluid. Like I'm just gonna ram you with a lot of questions, so feel free to ask me if I went too fast. So it's like, so first off, what is trans?
Okay. So
Like, trans people.
a lot of transgender people in general, they feel like they were born in the wrong body. Like for me personally, I am a woman. I do dress very boyish, but I've never felt like I was in the wrong body. To transgender people, to them they felt like they're a boy inside or a girl inside, and they won't be happy unless they have achieved that. But there's also a thing called intersex, which I'm not really too educated on it. I've briefly encountered some buzz around it, where it's a person who have both genitals. So they're not necessarily
I've heard
a
of that.
girl or a guy, or they're one or the other, but the parents decide to do like surgery on their genitals, which maybe they wanted to be a boy, but their parents had a surgical surgery, what the heck, genital surgery to make them a girl. Have you heard of
I see.
bi people?
Yes, bi I have heard of, which is like they like both guys and girls. Is this what I think it is? What the term refers to?
Yes, but it can go deeper than that. It can go into something like they're attracted to women only, but it could be like a woman or like a transgender. It's not something that is like for they're attracted to a man or a woman. They could be attracted to any two gender. Yeah, basically. But with pansexual people, they just like anyone and everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Back on the transgender people, does this mean like they doesn't necessarily go through surgery? They just feel like they're not in the correct body, which they can somewhat change by maybe the way they dress or their makeup or growing their hair out. It doesn't necessarily need to go to extremes where they do a
transition.
Surgery. Okay. Transition. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It depends on how we call this thing like a dysphoria, where people don't know, like, that people don't like certain areas of their body. For example, like if it's a trans men, the female transitioning to a male, they would have a body dysphoria of their chest or like their genitals. So they would have something called like top surgery, where they kind of reduce their breasts or cut it all off, or they can even remove their nipples if they want to. And in order to get that male physique, they would get the testosterone that they have to inject like throughout their whole lives. So, but for the people who are like kind of questioning whether they want to transform or not, I think that you should really kind of like think about it clearly, the pros and the cons, because you know, testosterone is like a hormone. Like you can't really know what the changes are gonna be. Like you get your voice deeper, but then you would lose hair if that's in your genes, something like that. While male to female transitioning, we use something called estrogen. I'm not sure what they really use for their boobs to make it bigger, because I didn't research about that. But yeah, they grow their hair longer, they use estrogen. Yeah. But there's another thing called non-binary. Do you know what non-binary is?
No, I don't think so.
So non-binary is someone who they feel like is not that they're men or women. They just want to be themselves. Like they don't want the social construct of being a man or a woman. So that's why you see there are people that have their pronoun as they, them.
I see.
Yep.
Other than that, I am very unclear of what queer means.
Oh, that's very, very blurry, because the way I perceive queer, and a lot of people as well, is it's more like they don't want to label themselves anything. It just means not straight. Like they don't want to be fit in a box of gay, lesbian, bisexual, pansexual, whatever, but queer just means they're not straight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is weird, because I do remember like Netflix having like this something called Queer Eye, and then I was like, wait, I'm confused. Are they gay or are they not? Or like, what is the definition of queer? I was really confused.
I've had a interesting story. So there is a girl, she dates like guys, but then now she's dating a transgender man. He's still a guy, but he's not a cis guy. So to her, she's labeling herself as queer because it's something that is straight passing. What straight passing means, it's like, it looks like it's a man and a woman together. It's straight passing, but it's not like a straight relationship. You get what I mean?
I see. So, okay, this is like, if you don't feel comfortable with speaking about it, like, can totally like not say anything or just cut it out. But I just like question, like, if you're trans, does this mean you guys have, like, if you go through surgery of transition, does this mean like they have like male genitalia or female genitalia too?
From what I know, usually male to female transition, they do have surgery to kind of get the female genitalia, But in terms of female to male, there's no such thing that could really give them a male genitalia. It's just, it's more about communicating with your partner, what you're doing in bed, like what is safe to touch and not. So yeah, there needs to be a lot of communication and understanding.
Oof, yeah.
I want to say
to
say though that there's nothing wrong with having a preference, a genitalia preference. Like what I meant is like you could see a transgender female. They are still a woman, right? But maybe they still have male genitals, and even if a man is attracted to her, he doesn't. He have the option to not sexually be involved with her because he doesn't like that, and that's totally fine. People have preference, but the thing that is not fine is insulting people about it or making fun of it.
Yeah, true. Okay. Other than that, do you think that like, okay, this is more delving into the love kind of thing, I guess, because like, you always hear these random stuff from like, especially and girlfriends asking their boyfriends, oh, if I were to become like a worm, would you still love me, or something like that? Like, do you think love, in a sense, love conquers all, even though like you guys have different preferences,
I mean,
I don't know how to say this, but I think you get what you get what I mean, I guess.
I mean, a lot of Ellen, sorry, not Ellen Page, so Elliot Page.
Ellen DeGeneres? Oh.
No. So Elliot Page, he transitioned from female to male. So, and when I say Ellen Page, that's a dead name, in a sense. Or another way of people call it is your birth name. Some people hate to be called by that name. So I would say that if you meet a transgender person, make sure to ask them their pronouns and what they would like to be called by.
Okay, here's the tricky thing. Because you're in a country, or like actually the entire world, I'm not sure about the stats, but I feel like the majority, you just think that they're straight. So assuming if they're transgendered, they might have a really good transition. You probably can't even tell. And so it's like hard to say when you should ask.
I think in terms of that, I think it's definitely on the transgender person if they decide to come up and tell you. So then that's when you kind of like tell them. But then again, if their transition is like flawless, then you probably tell them, call them the right pronoun most of the time, right?
I see.
Yeah.
I think it was like something of a wave that hit social media, that professors and universities require like professors to ask for pronouns before school starting and stuff too. And I was like, okay, this is a good, huge movement, honestly. It makes people feel included. And yeah, just something that I guess the LGBTQ community is bringing a rise. Like, although they are a minority group, there are more of them than like we think.
Yeah. Going back to Elliot Page situation. So, before he transitioned, he was in a lesbian relationship with his girlfriend at that time. And a lesbian relationship means that it's two women together, right? So once he transitioned to be a man, that doesn't fit that box anymore, and his girlfriend can't see him, can't date him anymore because she's attracted to women.
see.
So I'm not sure if they actually got married or it was like engagement or girlfriend, but they broke their relationship off after that.
Oh, I didn't follow that. But, that's interesting. But I do. Okay, I don't know why. I just remembered. Is Cara Delevingne also a bi?
Yeah, she's bi, I think.
Okay. Kristen Stewart too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, oh wait.
I'm not too sure myself, but there's a thing called bi-curious. I don't know if that label is more like an excuse to not really like to me, like bi-curious means that you're still attracted to men if you're a woman, but but you are also like interested in women, like you're just not sexually attracted to them, like you appreciate women. And to me, I think maybe it's something that they haven't discovered yet, or maybe it's something that they're oppressing, or maybe they don't want all the hardships of being gay. So it's just my personal opinion.
Yeah. Funny thing. I'm watching this K-drama called Mine, and like one of the main characters, she's having an identity crisis where she likes women, but because she was raised differently, she's like she cannot accept being interested in women. Although she did find her love and all that stuff, she rather broke it off and just be married to a guy, and like
so
it's like so much pressure.
It's called internalized homophobia. It's because of our society. It's because our society that is kind of like introducing that ComHet, which means compulsory heterosexual, which means that people in society push that straight relationship onto society. So it's just like something that people push for, like straight relationships even on TV and stuff like that. So you kind of have to like think. Some people never question themselves until like they're older, I would say. But people with internalized homophobia have it a much more difficult time coming to terms with their sexuality, because they think it's a sin, it's wrong. But until they realize that it's not wrong and kind of like accept that, I don't think they would be happy with it, because like if you're gay and you're staying with a man, I don't think that will make them happy.
I guess it comes to a question that, like, I do question it, that, for instance, I'm straight, and then I'm attracted to this person, which he or she could be, like, maybe, like, he could be, a person who's transitioning, or, I don't know. It's, like, so questionable that would a straight person be able to comfortably love that person, even though like you love them, but it's just another factor to consider that this person is actually, for instance, a trans person. And like, how would you accept that? Like, I did question that a lot when I watched, you know how Nikki Tutorials, she was blackmailed to come out. And then everyone was like, oh, does your I think your boyfriend or your fiance know? And she's like, yeah, he knows that she transitioned a long time ago. And I was like, although I do see it happening, but I feel like it's such a rare case.
I think that's why it's important, right? Like, that's why it's so important to have visibility, so that people can kind of like explore that option in the beginning without judgment, so then they know from a really young age, or when they're in their teenagers, that they know what they want. Because it's not like the person who's transitioning during a straight relationship is having it hard enough, but their partner is also having it hard, because they think that they've been dating this person their whole life, and now it's like they're a stranger, you know.
Yeah, true. So it comes to another point where if you view it from a relationship standpoint, when should it be a milestone to disclose this? Because of course, if you're a trans person, you might have a hard time saying, like, coming out to this to every single person you either like are in a talking phase with, or like dating. Like, how would you say you would classify this?
Yeah, that's the thing though, like non-straight people needs to always constantly come out throughout their lives, and at a certain point it's exhausting. But with transgender people, I encourage, a lot of people do this, but I encourage that if you are interested in a person and they're interested in you back, then they kind of have to tell you that they're trans, right? That's only fair.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, I'm considering from a factor, like, for instance, I'm attracted to this trans person. Of course I want to know that they're trans before I get all of my feelings involved and let all my heart, like, put myself in. But at the same time, thinking back to, like, for instance, if I were on a dating app and then I was like, you're just like, oh, you see this picture, you're attracted, you see their personality in a chat, you're attracted, but then, like, oh, they lay off that they constantly have to tell every single person that they talk to that they're trans just because they are interested in them. It's like really heartbreaking to me. For instance, you've all already fallen for this specific person, but then they're just like cold-hearted just because you are who you are. You did not choose to be in this situation. And I'm sure a lot of people, if they had it easier, like if they could be in a more open country or like society, they would probably choose to be coming out as they are openly. But since the society now is still like, although it's a lot more inclusive than when it was like in the 80s and 90s, but it's still to a certain degree very like hard to do all of this. Like, I feel so heavy hearted just talking about this. My voice is starting to crack.
Like I think that's because what we talked about, like the default thing people think about is straight people, right? So and I mean, I would like to think that if you actually fall for that person, so I guess eventually some things can be compromised.
That's the thing though, with love it's so blurry. Like, how much compromise is too much? How much compromise is it you giving up the best version of you for that person? So it's like so many stuff to consider, to be honest.
I keep myself positive by thinking about soulmates. Like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, I guess.
Okay, I have a very messed up theory that I didn't realize I had it until one of my ex asked me about it. Like, and then I realized this is what my belief, contrary to what I've read in books. Like, we all know the concept of soulmates and all that stuff. But when I was put on the stand of, like, what do you think about soulmates and how you feel about them? I'm like, really think about it. Really consider, like, other people's lives, like, throughout history. There are people who found love once, never remarried. There are people who found love once, God forbid their partner passed away, or they just fell out of love, but they found love again. So to me, I'm like, there is no one true soulmate. I love the concept of the one, but in my definition, the one has an expiration date or a set period of time.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same with friendship, don't you think? Like, there are friends that will stick by you forever, and there are friends that's gonna like have a good time once and then that's it. I think it's the same with relationship. Like, I like the idea of the one, but definitely it takes a lot more work than what's been said in movies and books.
Like, of course, when I was younger, I loved this concept, and I'm still a hopeless romantic till this day.
Yeah.
But realistically, really thinking through about marriage, this promise that you will be with this one person, although you don't know how you will grow as a person, how they will grow as a person, and if you guys will contradict in your growth. So it's like, it's quite scary to think that you're making this promise that honestly you can't really keep. But people live off of this for like, I don't know, centuries.
Maybe some lucky people really have the one, but I think the majority of people don't have that like luxury of meeting a soulmate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like you don't necessarily need a soulmate. You just need someone that understands you on a deeper level, and like they don't need to read your mind. It's like just be able to communicate with you openly, point it out, be able to confront you and call you out on your BS, but at the same time know when to back off.
Like, just find somebody compatible.
I feel like, I don't know about most people, but to me, when I'm in love, I feel like most of their flaws are blinded to me. Because I'm so stuck in the rose-tinted glasses. It's only when like I break up with a significant other that I realized, wow, I didn't realize I was bothered by this, but I really was. I mean, like, rose-tinted glasses off now.
Yeah, that's how relationship works.
Which is really sad. I really wish that relationships could have been more sweet than bitter.
Yeah.
But because it has to end, you only remember the bitter, although like it probably actually weighs equally. There were a lot of sweet moments, but there were also some bitter.
Yeah, it's bittersweet. Oh, before we wrap up, want to talk about another thing. I remember you'd asked me about what asexual is. Asexual are people who are not sexually attracted to anyone. Like, they just don't want to have sex. That's all. They could date people or not date people.
Yeah.
They could love people or they want to be forever alone. It's just they don't want to have sex. That's all.
Fair.
Yeah.
I don't know why my brain popped it popped in with like, people who are grossed out by germs probably don't want to do it. Like germaphobes. Because it's disgusting when you really think about it, okay?
Yeah. I think they're probably in the middle of doing, they probably changed their sheets like 3 times. Or like, I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, this brings me back to like, how do people, like women, when they're on their period, of course they see blood. But what if they are scared of blood or they faint at the sight of blood? Like, it's like, oh my gosh. how do you?
I think it helps. Wait, no, it doesn't help because my theory doesn't make sense. Because at first I thought like, oh, it's their own blood and it means that they're not hurting. But then, again, even if they see other people's blood, like a nosebleed, they would faint as well. So yeah, I don't know.
I guess something we'll just Google later on.
Yeah. Is
So,
there like
I think
any more questions?
For me on the LGBTQ community, I don't think so. Like, yeah, mostly it's, I just feel really, I know it sounds fake coming out of my mouth when I say this, but I do feel really sad that people have to compromise who they are just to put themselves out there to be able to ask for love, just like anyone else, and be threatened by it.
And I think a lot of people don't understand that sexuality is a spectrum. Some people can look more gay than other people or not. Like it's a whole spectrum. It's not something that you can label yourself and that's it. A lot of people I know or look up to, even when they label themselves in the first place, maybe they could label themselves as like a lesbian, then later on they decide that it wasn't for them, and then they could go into exploring more of that. Maybe they could be a transgender man later on. Like, yeah, so for the people that are questioning themselves, it's definitely okay to explore, but don't do it at the expense of other people. And just like don't be afraid and like explore. That's what you're supposed to do.
Okay, so heavy topic at first I thought it would be, but right now my heart is aching. Oh my gosh.
In a sense, so, I'm like used to it, so
yeah, I know, but I'm like, oh my god, it's so sad that you're used to it, dude. That's even worse, okay? It's like you've been hurt so many times, you're just numb to the pain now.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's just something like I'm supposed to do as a gay person, so yeah.
It shouldn't be though, to be honest.
Yeah,
shouldn't be. Yeah. Okay, so thank you for coming into this info session with me and Bin. So I hope that at the end of this, you guys feel a little bit more for the LGBTQ community and possibly understand them a bit more. I know being one of the LGBTQ community is really hard here in Campbell especially. So please, if you have a friend, show them support, give them a helping hand.
Yeah.
Because we all know they need more of it. Thank you for listening to our episode. Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. It's Little Side Note, the podcast. And please email us at which is, the email is like littlesidenote@gmail.com.
Yep, and for those who don't know, we have Spotify now as well. Sadly, it's region locked, so for those who are in Campbell, VPN.
Yeah, but it's Little Side Note, the podcast, and yeah, every episode is uploaded there consistently. You guys can go ahead and stream while you're driving.
Yeah, cool. Okay, we'll see you guys next week. As always, bye.
Bye.